In this very quick video guide, we're gonna see a couple of materials in Enscape for Archicad, but we can find the same also in an Enscape for Rhino or SketchUp or other software that we can use. So as you can see, sometimes the material is already recognized by the application, like in this case. In other cases, we need to apply it, but sometimes also can give problems. So I'm going to show you again a little bit about how we can, change it and adjust it. So I selected the terrain here in Archicad, and it's called soil. So if I right click and get into the options or the selection settings, you can see it's overwritten by this grass green. So if I turn this off, I won't be able to see that material, and I'm gonna show you here. And I need to say okay, so you can just see the soil, which could be another option if you want to show like roads or gravel, so something like that. And so let me go back, right click and override again with the grass green. Now, if I want to manage that material, which is also kind of heavy to render, so sometimes you want it and sometimes you may want to turn it off. And also I'm going to show you another issue. So when the grass is pretty tall, is gonna like override other layers. So I go into the material editor by going into the menu or by going into the toolbar and search for that grass green, and there it is. So this is where I can adjust that grass right there. So sometimes the grass is too high, so I can put just generic. Generic is going to be like default material. So it looks good. I think it looks pretty good, and it's also way lighter, not so heavy like the grass. If you want a little bit more realism, you may want to use the grass, but like for really short grass, you can use the default generic material. Otherwise, you can adjust the height and the height variation from the parameters. So you can see here the difference, and it's also a little bit animated, the grass. So if you create animations, it's a little bit better. And then you can increase the height a lot, and you can change the variation of the grass. And right now it's using a texture, which is fine because it's making it pretty realistic, but you can use another texture for the albedo and do the variation also with that. And so that's the texture right here that it's using. And we have also color and tint color. So the tint is gonna like override a little bit. So if you want like more yellowish grass or more dark or more brownish, depending on your needs, you can change it from here. And you can also do image fade to fade the texture. And what else? So let me show you a problem here. So if I go inside the building, you can see at some point the grass is kind of getting up and overriding a pavement in the interior. And this is because I have the terrain also below the model. So I either change it in a geometry in the 3D, or I just, decrease the height. If decreasing the height is not enough, the only option is to again change from grass to generic. That's gonna eventually fix that issue. But you will tell that special materials like grass and water, they're pretty heavy to render and to manage in heavy software like Archicad, for example. So it could also crash, and for if you use it with really large areas. So let me go back here in the grass, put it in a generic, and you can see now I can see the pavement. There is no overwriting of that, and I can still see the grass in the rest of the terrain, which is pretty big. So I think it's also good looking. So you can decide if you want the heavier grass or the lighter grass, depending on your specific needs. Now I want to show you also the water. So I'm gonna apply the water somewhere here. I don't have a swimming pool or a water surface here, so I'm just gonna apply it to a random one, and just showing you also I can customize it a little bit. And also here you can have different effects like ocean, water, pond, and river or swimming pool, whatever. I'm changing the position of this piece of geometry so we can work with this other one. So let me right click and get into the surface model section and apply just water. You can see I already have two water pond, water navy. Let's say we want to apply water navy, and that's going to become then a water material, as you can see in there. And we can still see a little bit of the ground. So, well, but you can see the, and also we see flickering. Now, flickering happens when you have perfect overlapping of two surfaces. So to avoid that, just move the surface either higher or lower. So right there, we have a kind of a strange combination of grass and water right now. So let me just use another surface so we can see it better. So I'm going to go back, Control Z, and readjust that to avoid that flickering because I've moved those surfaces and they are overlapping. So if I go back, Control Z, I fix it. So be careful with the overlapping geometry also with using these materials, but in general, any material in Archicad and Enscape. So let me apply water here instead of grass. So I'm going to type water and apply water pond this time so we can see another one. And look there, so I applied the water all around the scene here, even in the trees and even in this architecture, but that's again to just check the water material. You can see it looks really beautiful and animated also. It's kind of calm, but again, if we go in the material editor, which we look for this pond, so that's the other water we were using, and then again, you have the possibility to override with colors, so having really strange effects, really artistic effect in a way. And then you have, if you go darker, and desaturation is going to be a little bit more realistic in my opinion. So don't over saturate colors in general. And then you can choose the wind, you can override the wind settings. Otherwise you can set the wind settings in the visual settings. And so if you override, you can change the direction angle, the intensity of the speed, and others. So the waves, how the waves are big or small, and also caustic effects. And so these are other snapshots from another course in Enscape for Rhino, and you get the same exact tools and special materials. And you can see here that the kind of a swimming pool where I apply caustics, etc., etc. So if you're interested in these courses, this is a carpet which is similar to grass, and it's also available in Archicad. But if you want, you can check also the Enscape for Rhino or other courses in the channel. So this will be all for this guide. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. If you want to stay updated, subscribe to the channel and check our other video courses and video guides. If you want to join us and join the channel, this will support us, and thank you. So see you in the next video guide.